Settled here and we'll get started. Hi, Ken.
Hi there.
Hi. All right. Well, hopefully a few more will be joining us shortly, but we will get started and they can catch up. So today for equipment, all you need is a dowel. If you don't have that, a broomstick or a cane or anything like that will also do. So hopefully you can find something that will work. In a pinch, something like a belt that doesn't have a lot of stretch to keep you a little bit spaced for hands would be okay, but hopefully it's something a little more rigid than that. And then we'll be using a band for our resistance work today. So if you have a physio band handy, just keep that close by. We won't need either thing for the beginning though of class. We'll do some warm up without either of those two pieces of equipment. And then of course have a water bottle handy, and you are free of course to have a sip of water anytime you need it. I'll try to cue a few water breaks as we go as well. Okay, so here we go. You can get comfortable in your chair and you're welcome to have your eyes closed for this first portion. So we have full back support as we are here just focusing on our breathing for a few moments. So taking some nice even breaths in and out. And let's go back to the focus that I haven't done in a few weeks. So we'll start at the crown of your head, where every breath in draws the crown of your head just a little bit closer to the ceiling, and you maintain that length on the breath out. So just coming a little bit taller in your chair. Maybe you feel like your core muscles turn on a little bit to help with that lengthening. But just looking for that extension through to the crown of your head. Yeah, so let's take one more breath in and out like that, and then we'll change or turn our attention to the rise and fall of our chest. Hand on your chest is optional. So expansion through your rib cage with every breath in, and then a nice even breath out. So giving your lungs lots of room to expand and then contract with that exhale. Great. We'll do two more like that. And then we'll turn our attention to the rise and fall of our belly, and we'll exaggerate that a little bit. So every breath in, filling up like your belly is a balloon, and every breath out, squeezing your belly button towards your backbone. Hand can be there for a bit of guidance if you like. Good. So every breath in expands through your belly. Every breath out pulls your belly button in towards your backbone, activating through our core muscles here. Great. We'll do two more breaths like that. Good. And then from there, you can just take your hands to your lap. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed or have your eyes open for this portion as we start to add a little bit of a shoulder roll to the back. So shoulder circles. Good. We'll do two more there. And one. All right, from there, arms are going to come extended at your side with your palms facing back. And we're doing our shoulder shrugs here. So shoulder shrugs that bring your shoulders back and then in. Pull back and then up and in. So we are still using those trapezius muscles, the muscles that sit between your ears and your shoulders, but we're using the back half of them more, which is not typical in our day-to-day movements. So trying to get a little more opening through our chest with this one. We'll do two more here. And one. Excellent. And then let's do some forward shoulder shrugs here. Good. We'll do two more. And one. All right, shoulders are set back and down. Arms are going to be out to the side in a wide W, moving through shoulder blades and thoracic spine as we pull elbows in towards our side and then extending out. So you can make this quite a active move where your mid shoulder muscles push your arms away and then your lat muscles pull your arms in. So instead of just running through some range of motion, you can start to get those muscles really feeling like they have a job to do here. Good, 2 more. And 1. Excellent. We're going to go for a side flex with an overhead reach in just a moment. But before we do that, let's just do a side flex on its own. So one hand can either be on the base of your chair, on the arm of your chair for a little bit of support. So we're going to side flex towards that supported side and then pull back tall here. Your free hand can come off to the side if you like, just as a little, almost like a counterbalance. Adds a little element of difficulty to the exercise. Nothing too extreme as we don't have a weight in hand for this. So we'll just do 1 more like that. Good, reset, same side. We're going to do the exact same movement with an addition of an arm reaching up and over if that feels good for you today. So side flex, reach up and over, actively pull back down again. So we're getting that active muscle activation as we reach up, squeeze and pull down. And that flexion through mid-spine. 2 more. And 1. Good, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So we're going to start just with the side flex. And then you might add that extended arm. So the side that you're flexing to is the side where you're holding your chair for support. Great, we'll do 2 more like that. And 1. Good. And then from there, resetting, either keeping that same movement going or adding that up and over reach, active pull down. Great. Give me a few more here. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. All right, starting to add a little bit of rotation next to our warm-up. If you have the core control to be able to slide slightly forward of your chair back, you're welcome to do that now. Staying on your chair back is totally fine. Both hands coming to the same side lap as we start to rotate side through center, just working through gentle range of motion here and trying to keep our hips more or less facing forward. So we're not rotating from the hips, but from our spine for this. You might give a little bit of a shoulder check here as well, looking over that shoulder as you rotate. Good, we'll do 2 more there. And 1. Great, coming back through center, resetting nice and even through the hips from side to side, and then getting ready to do the same on the other side. Both hands on the same side lap as you rotate side to center, adding in that shoulder check. Two more.
Hi, Miss. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for joining me. Okay, let's do one last thing for warm up today. We're going to do our forward hinge. So depending on your level of core control, you will either be back on your chair, pressing into your chair back, make sure your wheels are locked and you're in a safe spot to do that. Or if you're able to forward hinge away from chair back, hands are on your lap for support as we hinge down, coming back up. Not worried about how far down we're going, but more about maintaining that length through our spine and a connection through our core. Great, we'll do 2 more. And 1. Excellent. All right. So we are ready to grab our paddle. We'll get started with a little bit more warm up actually before we get into our cardio portion. So grab a drink if you need, and your paddle or
I'm in the restaurant.
straight object, and we'll get started from there. Okay. So as I said, before we get started on using the dowel as a cardio tool, we'll do just a little bit more of an active warm up here. So hands are slightly wider than shoulder width. Shoulders are back and down. Core muscles are ready to support. So likely at chair back. You can be slightly forward if that feels okay for you today. Let's just do a lift and a lower. Forward lift. And let's go back to focusing on posture like we did at the beginning with our breathing exercise. So try to really lengthen through your spine here, sitting as tall as you can in your chair. We got 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shoulders are set. Dowel is extended out front now. We're going to draw a semicircle around our body. So moving through shoulder joint for this one. And for now, we're stabilizing through our core. So shoulders themselves are not rotating. We'll get to that in a moment. Good. 2 more. And 1. All right, come back in, give those shoulders a little reset. We're going to do the same initial setup here. And then we'll do a little more rotation. So it will either look like this, a little bit higher positioning, or you'll add some rotation to your movement, lots of control. Good, so a really slow rotation, side to center. If you would prefer to have your hands free, you're welcome to set the dowel down and stabilize using your hands on the arms of your chair. Last one each way here. Excellent. Back to center. All right, here we go. Ready for a paddle. Kayak paddle. I don't have any timer set today. We're just going to run through a few different patterns. And of course, pacing yourself as always. So if you feel like we're not moving fast enough and you'd like to get a little extra heart rate raising activity today, you're welcome to pick up the pace. If you would like to slow it down and focus more on core and muscle control, you're welcome to do that too. Or anything in between. Good. So let's take a moment as we do our first little bit of paddling here to again focus on that length through our spine. So for now, we're going to keep nice and tall. We'll do some rotations with our paddling in a while, but for now, shoulders facing forward, all the power's coming from our arms and from the muscles that sit around our shoulder blades, and some core too. Great, keep going here just a little bit longer and then I'll change it up. All right, let's go to lengthening out our paddle strokes side to side. So a little bit more like an elongated figure 8. And then we'll start to slow this one down just for a moment. Give me a little bit more side flex if you're comfortable with that. Still trying to keep more or less evenly weighted on both hips. So we don't want to become too unstable by leaning too far to one side. And then just bring me back to a nice close paddle again. So nice even paddle, fairly close to your knees. If you need to widen that out a little bit, of course, to clear the arms of your chair, that's totally fine. Great, and then we're going to start to vary the length of our paddle again, this time forward, big reaches forward. We'll stay nice and upright to start with, and then we'll get a little bit more hinging and rotational options going here shortly. Good, so big forward reaches coming past your knees on each paddle stroke. All right, and then option of starting to hinge, but still keep those shoulders facing forward. So each paddle stroke adds a bit of hinging at the beginning of the movement. Probably slowing this one down just a little bit to complete this movement with lots of control. And then we're going to slow it down even more with the option of rotation. So following that paddle through with a bit of rotation through mid-spine, maybe also looking over that shoulder as the paddle completes its stroke to the back. Good, we'll do one more each per side. And then come back up nice and tall again. Great. I'm not going to cue a rest break in this particular sequence, but you're welcome to take one anytime. Now is a good time, just as we do our basic kayak paddle here. So if you do need a bit of a rest, feel free at any time. Great. All right, so we're going to change it up a little bit again. This time, I guess, doesn't feel too much like paddling for the next sequence here, but we're going to do a little bit of up overhead work. So just as your usual safety reminder, make sure the wheels of your chair are locked. If you do not have anti-tip on your chair, make sure you're in a safe place to do this, maybe against a wall for support. Great. So we're going to change our paddle strokes and really, it's kind of awkward, but really lengthen them up. Once you get going, it feels a little better, but good. So they're still quite close to your body, but now we've really exaggerated the upward move of the paddle. Great. And then from here, our little bit of flexion is reaching, and again, that little bit of a following motion, side flex as the paddle comes down. Totally optional. If this brings you into a position where you don't have as much core control, bring it down a little bit lower, maybe no side flex, that's fine. Good, two more per side. And one. All right, back to our low regular kayak paddle. Okay, we're gonna change up the patterning a little bit here and do a bit of counting. So our next one's going to be 4 even paddle strokes as we're doing now. And in a moment, we'll start adding a repeater of 2 on each side. So I'll count you out in just a minute here. Good, so I'll slow it down for now and then we can speed it back up if that is feels good for you today. So we'll go 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 2 on one side, 2 on the other. Good, 4 close paddle strokes. And then a double on one side, double on the other. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, once you get settled in this pattern, if you want to add a little bit more difficulty, picking up the pace and really exaggerating those doubles, big arm movements. So quick paddles for 4, big arm movements for those 2. Keep going. Great. All right, the doubles are going to change up a little bit. You're welcome to stay here if that feels best. But quite like some of the other moves we've been doing, I'm going to change kind of the length and reach that we have, and thereby add a little bit of flexion to the move here. So see if I can do this on the fly while moving and talking at the same time. So you have the option of flexing and reaching off to the side. Maybe it's a smaller paddle, but more of a reach. So we're going to keep with the same pattern, but now you're reaching farther off to the side for each of your double paddles. Okay, keep going here.
Miss, when you're having another online lesson?
I'm here every Thursday at noon Pacific time.
So every Thursday you are here, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm. Good. Changing up the pattern, or not the pattern, but the reach just a little bit again to be a forward reach. So forward for our paddle on the doubles, close to your knees for the 4 singles. Maybe that gives you a little bit of a forward hinge, maybe even a little bit of rotation. Good. Keep going. We're almost done this sequence. We're going to move into our resistance work fairly soon here. Good. I have one more for you within this same pattern. So let's do one more of those forward reach paddles. And then our last one is a little bit of a back paddle. So we're going to go rotation and look back behind and then back forward for your 4. Just do this with control so you're not rotating farther than is comfortable, of course. Good. We're going to do this 3 more times per side, and then we are done paddling for today. 2 more times coming up here. And last one, each side. Great. All right, so we are finished with the paddle. You can, or dowel, you can set it down, grab a drink of water, and we're going to move on to using our resistance band here shortly. All right, I think I was holding that pretty tight today. If you need to shake out your hands for a minute, feel free. Wrist circles. Back the other way. Opening up your fingers and then closing them. Great. And then we'll also release a little bit of tension that might have built up in your trapezius muscles between neck and shoulders. So head drops to one side. Coming back through center, maybe doing that a couple times. Great. Okay, here we go with the resistance band. So the exercises I'm going to do will keep us in the same positioning more or less for a while. So if you like to have the band wrapped to help with grip strength and control, you're welcome to do that. We're doing some fairly big moves today, so you'll need a relatively decent amount of band between your two hands, and you can always adjust that accordingly. And you're always welcome to not use a band and just use range of motion for these exercises as well. So if maybe you have a shoulder injury or something else where it's best to just do range of motion today, that feels better, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay, so for our first exercise, we are going to do 1/2 of a banded pull apart. And I have two different choices for you on this one. If you would like to stabilize one hand on your lap, the working arm is going to reach up above your head off to the side. So shoulder set, reaching up. If you would like to add a little bit more workload to your stabilizer arm, it's going to be forward off your lap instead. It'll have to work to stabilize even harder, of course, as you pull up and over here. So we're going to do, let's do 8 of each exercise today because we're going to see this one come twice. So here we go. We'll go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Both arms come down for a reset. We're going to do that exact same exercise with the other hand now. So again, your option is stabilizer arm is down on your lap or is hovering out front, staying nice and strong as that other arm lifts. So shoulder is set, ready to lift up overhead, off to the side, back down. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Bring it down for a reset. We're going to do a second set of that same exercise right now. I'll just show you our one additional option that we're adding for this second round. And then you can decide from there whether you'd like to keep it the same as we just did or add a little bit of rotation to the movement as well. So we have the same two choices, either the stabilizer hand on your knee or extended out front. The movement will be the same. However, we're adding the option of rotation towards that moving hand for this next set of 8. So choose what's best for you. Here we go. We got 8, 7. Maybe you're looking towards that hand as it's up overhead. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Again, a reset before we get ready for that other side. So feel free anytime just to kind of adjust and make sure you're nice and even in your seat. And then same thing on this side, that option of shoulders straight forward or reaching with rotation as we get ready to do our 8 here. Here we go. We got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. All right. Nothing else needs to change about band positioning. Certainly, if you do need to unwind and grab a drink of water, you're free to do that while I describe the next exercise. So basically, it's the exact same exercise, but instead of using our upward reaching muscles, we're back pressing for the next exercise. So our options on this one, shoulders are going to be facing forward for the first set as they did on the last exercise. are still to stabilize with one hand. It's now going to be crossbody, so that both hands are on the same side. And you may find that you need a little bit less band. So you may want to wrap one more wrap around your hand for this one. So we're going to do our back press here. Or if you liked that extra workload of having the hand forward, it's going to be, again, a crossbody. You probably will still need as much band as you did for the last exercise as we press back here. So that's our two options. Shoulders are set, core muscles ready to support. Here we go for 8, 7, just a little bit of a soft elbow here. Good, we got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Switching it up to the other side, resetting, shoulders are back and down. Hand is either on your lap for that back press or hovering on that crossbody side as we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Just as we did on the last exercise, our overhead ones, we now have the option of rotation as we do our second set. It will look very similar, of course, but we are now rotating and moving back instead of moving up. So you are welcome to keep the exercise exactly the same, shoulders facing forward if the rotation is not feeling right for you today. Or we are pressing and rotating, looking maybe a little bit down towards that hand as it comes back behind us. Shoulders are set. Here we go. We got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Back to center for a reset. Same thing here. Shoulders can be facing forward for this exercise or with rotation. Again, crossbody to start, pressing back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Well done those exercises. We will do, I'm going to sneak a few more in. Of course, we have some time for a few more resistance exercises and a couple of core exercises as well before we stretch. So I already have my band wrapped. I'm going to keep it that way for just a little bit longer. And we're going to use our rhomboid muscles for the next exercise with a few other muscles coming into play to help us with this one as well. So it is going to be a wide row, but we're going to do it as a 2-step row. So shoulders are set. I'm going to keep the band fairly low. So when it comes back, if it was to come kind of like bump into my torso, it would come at low rib cage level. I don't want to bring it too high up chest level, or I find that shoulders start to creep up a little bit here too. So we want to keep shoulders back and down. But as I said, I want this to be a 2-step exercise. So what I want to have you picture is first your shoulder blades pull together, and then your arms complete the movement. So shoulder blades, that's the rhomboids. First, your shoulder blades pull together, and then your arms continue to pull that band to give it a little bit more resistance. So we're going to do 8 from here. We'll go shoulder blades, squeeze, pull. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. All right, I like to sneak in some rotator cuff, and depending on how your band is wrapped, you may be able to just keep it wrapped, or you might want to unwrap here just so we have hand positioning. For this one, you're welcome to rewrap in just a moment. So we're going to go palms facing up for this exercise. So of course, you're welcome to wrap into that positioning as well. We don't need too much band between our two hands, depending on how resistant the physio band is that you're working with. Elbows are going to stay glued to our side. It's quite a small move. Shoulders are back and down, and maybe even that little bit of feeling of shoulder blades pulling in towards each other from the exercise that we just did. So we're in a really tall chest forward positioning here. And then we'll use our rotator cuffs as those hands float out to the side, back to center. Elbows are glued the whole time. Good, let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great, just reset. We're going to keep everything exactly the same. So palms are going to stay facing up for our next exercise as well. And it is still rotator cuff, but we're going to do just one side at a time this time. So one side's job is to stabilize and keep that arm just nice and still at our side. And the other one is going to do our rotator cuff rotation here. So let's do 8 on one side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. And then setting up for the same on the other. One hand there to stabilize, the other one ready to move. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. We are all done with the band for today. You can set that away. I do have one more exercise for you, but we don't need the band for it. And I'm going to grab a quick drink of water before we do that. All right, for the next exercise, we're going to be using our rectal abdominals, our mid-core muscles. I'm going to actually give you 3 choices on this because a lot will depend on your level of core function. And then I'll give you, one of the options is going to have a little bit of leg interaction as well. So that's why the reasoning behind the 3. So these are ones that we've done before. We're doing chair sit backs or press backs with an option of knee raise. So this is the option 1. Option 1 is if you have lower levels of core control, you will be back on your chair. Again, make sure that you're in a safe place to do this. Gentle pressure through the back of your chair as your core muscles squeeze you back, and then releasing that pressure as you come slightly forward. So that's option 1. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Option 2, if you're able to come slightly forward of your chair back, is chair sit backs. Hands can be on your lap or on the arms of your chair for a bit of stability for this one as well. And no need to go all the way to touch chair back. And then option 3 is going to be chair sit back, one knee up, chair sit back, the other knee up. So I know not all of these options are available to everyone who joins these classes. Just giving you some choices. Pick which one is best for you. Great. Making sure that you're still taking nice even breaths in and out. We have a tendency to hold our breath when we do core work. And making sure you still have that length through your spine, just like we checked in at the beginning of class today. Good. Let's do 3 more, whichever way you're doing this exercise. Last one coming up here. Great. Okay, if you were forward on your chair slightly, you can slide back on your chair for full back support now. And let's get ready to stretch. So we'll start our stretch today with that long arm forward reach, shoulder is low, coming in to grab that forearm and squeeze it cross body. So we're getting a stretch through rear shoulder, maybe in through rhomboids as well on this side. And we'll drop our ear towards our shoulder on the same side that both your hands are currently hanging out on. Maybe every breath in makes you feel just a little bit taller. I know that our head is off to the side a little bit, but maybe you can breathe that spot that's stretching, add a little bit more space to the muscle group. Good, head comes back to neutral. We're going to ease our way part way out of this stretch, but then bend at the elbow and take it onto that same shoulder again. Bringing it across a little bit more if that feels good. And now dropping our chin to look down towards our hip on that same side. Good, bring your head back to neutral. Let's unwind that arm and open it wide off to the side, getting a little bit of a chest stretch. We'll do that range a few times, so reaching wide. Maybe even with a little bit of rotation, so if you want to reach wide and rotate, might hold there for just a moment. We'll do that 2 more times. Great, and then we're going to do the same set of stretches on the other side. So our first stretch was that long extended arm, grabbing on at forearm and pulling across, making sure that shoulder hasn't come up too close to your ear. So reset if you need to before you pull across. Good, and then releasing a little bit, letting that shoulder blade come away from its center point to get a bit more stretch. Dropping your ear towards your shoulder on that same side. Great, ease your head back to neutral. We'll take that arm part way out of the stretch and then grab on at elbow or just above. Hand is on your shoulder. Elbow pulls across, shoulder is still low, set into position, just changing the stretch a little bit as we now look down towards our lap, chin towards your chest on that other side. Great, come on back through center. We will take that arm out to the side as we did before. First, without rotation, you're welcome to stay here. And then if you want to add that reach with rotation, go ahead and add that as well. We'll do one more. Excellent, back to center. Let's go ahead and what are we going to do next? Let's go ahead and do a little bit more of a low back stretch. So this one again has multiple choices based on your level of core control. So if you need to stay at your chair back for this exercise, you're going to not put the same pressure that we did. So we're not necessarily activating our core muscles extensively for this one, but we're looking for length through our spine. So maybe your hands are going to be on your lap, just pressing and getting that length and a little bit of stretch. If you are able to come away from your chair back, we're going to do a forward hinge with front support. So hands on your lap for support. Hanging out here for a few breaths. Maybe you'll do this one, come back up for a reset and hinge back down again a couple of times. And then Stealing from yoga, if you prefer the cat-cow where you're giving a little bit more spinal movement, you're welcome to do that one too, where you extend and look forward as you hinge forward, and then curl through your upper spine, slowly come back up tall again. So 3 different options for you there again. Add in some nice even breaths in and out as you go as well. Good. Whichever one you're doing, let's do one more. Take some time for a nice big breath in and out. Great. Come back up tall again. All right, we have our side flex stretch to get a little more space and stretch through obliques and lats on this side. So one hand is stabilizing on your lap, on the chair base, or on the arm of your chair, depending on your setup. The other one is going to reach up and over, and we'll find a spot that we can maybe just pause here and really actively press towards the ceiling. So getting lots of reach and stretch. Maybe you're even looking slightly up to the ceiling, so you might open up through your chest just a little bit. Take a few breaths in and out here. And then coming back down through center. We'll do the same on the other side. So holding on as you need to for support, reaching up, side flex, really active press towards the ceiling in a diagonal pattern. And then maybe gazing up towards the ceiling, so adding a little bit more of a chest press upward. Great, come on back through center again. Let's get comfortable for a breathing exercise to finish things off today. So the breathing exercise that we're going to do today is we're going to take a breath in as we build tension through a muscle group, and then a breath out as we release and relax. So we'll work you through a few of those. I'm going to start down in our glutes today. I know not all of these will be accessible to everyone, so feel free to improvise as you will. You're welcome to have your eyes closed here. If you miss one of my cues, it's really no big deal. We're here to focus on our breathing for this last few moments. So nice even breaths in and out. So if it's available to you, glute muscles are going to squeeze you a little tall in your chair, butt muscles with a breath in, and then release you back down, breath out. Good. We used our core muscles a lot today. Our core muscles are going to contract. Maybe that will bring you slightly forward of your chair back, breath in, and then release you to your chair back, breath out. Good. Next, our shoulder blades are going to squeeze together, puffing up through our chest, breath in, and release, breath out. Good. Right hand is going to make a fist, squeeze, breath in, release, give your fingers a wiggle, breath out. Right arm is going to do a bicep curl, breath in, and then release your hand down to your lap, breath out. Good. Left hand is going to squeeze and make a fist, and then release and relax. Left arm is going to bicep curl, and then release down to your lap. Great, we have 2 more. Shoulders are going to come up by your ears, squeezing the trapezius muscles, breath in, and then shoulders release and relax down your back, breath out. And then lastly, face muscles can contract, breath in, and then release, breath out. If you have your eyes closed here, let's just keep eyes closed just for another few breaths. So you can do a little bit of a body scan now as you take some nice even breaths in and out and see how things feel after class today. Make a mental note if you need to make any changes for next time, or if you have any questions for me. That's fine. So we'll take one more big breath in and out with our eyes closed. Great. And then we'll finish things off as we always do with our 3 big breaths in and out, starting down low, reaching for the ceiling. Good. One more. All right. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be around for a few minutes if you have any questions.
Thank you. That
Thank
knee lift thing was really hard, but
Yeah. Yeah,
Thanks.
not for everyone, and something that it's better. Thanks, Gordon. I see your message. That it's better to do nice and slow, right? That's a lot of hip flexor as well as core in order to lift the knee in that positioning. So yeah, lots of concentration and muscle control that is a work in progress, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Nice. See you guys next week.
All right, thank you. See you
Bye.
again.
I'm ending the stream.
Yeah, we're all done.
Oh man, see you soon, okay?
What's that? You had a question?
I'm coming back soon, okay? See you
Oh,
after
okay.
the stream. Bye.
Okay. Bye.